Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. There have been some big releases already this year. We ain't talking about any of those. You can keep your forever wanted elixirs. You can keep your code elixirs. You can keep your Aqua de Jo elixirs. Huh. Sure, that's a coincidence. Because today we're talking about 10 of the more under the radar fragrances that have come out this year that haven't been talked about quite so much. And trust me when I tell you, you are gonna wanna hear about some of these because some of them are just as good as the real hype beasts. Everything I talk to you guys about is gonna be linked in the description below, and I also have a pretty sick giveaway as well to one of you, a sick giveaway to one of you. Not that I myself got a sick giveaway. Now the first fragrance I want to talk to you guys about is this one from Carolina Herrera, CH Men Wild Love. Now, I don't really like the bottle. I'll tell you why. It's kind of hairy. Now I've got like a weird issue, you know, something maybe from my childhood, I don't know, where I don't like bottles that are fuzzy. So those velvet kind of bottles, I want to throw them. Like if you put one in my hand, I have to physically fight the urge to just take off the cap and throw it like a grenade as far away from me as I can. But Carolina Herrera was like, you know what? We don't need no fuzzy bottles. We need a hairy bottle. Look at this. I don't know if it's coming through on camera, but the bottle is hairy. Like you could use a legitimate little haircut. And I get it, it's supposed to look like fur, right? But yeah, it's a hairy bottle, yeah. But outside of that, I mean, it looks kind of cool, like a unique crackheadish kind of way. I don't know exactly that it all makes sense, you know, a hairy leopard print and then this kind of like sky blue CH buckle kind of thing on the front, and then like a maroonish burgundy faux leather wrapped gold cap. I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but enough harping on the bottle like a bird that just can't shut up. Let's talk about the fragrance. It's got a really simplistic note breakdown. It's got patchouli, sage, and leather. And I've got to admit, when this thing was first announced, I saw that note breakdown and I was like, that's pretty boring. And yeah, it is. It is a pretty boring note breakdown, but the fragrance itself is really, really addictive. So I bought this at the same time as Aqua de Jo Profundo Eau de Toilette. And I tested this the day after I tested Aqua de Jo Profundo. And I gotta say, this one I just kept coming back to. Like after I sprayed it on, I would catch whiffs in the air all day. And I was like, man, that smells awesome. It is really reminiscent to the original CH Men. So if you're familiar with that fragrance, you're gonna be familiar with this one. When you first spray it on, you can tell right away that's what's going on. And one of the main things that you get from the original CH Men is kind of a sugary, sweet, very wearable, designerish leather note, and this has that, front and center. But off my skin, this pushes harder, it lasts longer, and so you can, like I said, catch whiffs of it all day. One of the main drawbacks of CH Men, the OG, was that the performance was not amazing. So if you wanted it to really project and get you noticed, you had to go a little heavy. With this one, not so much. So it does have a nice sweetness to it, to that leather, but it also has a little bit of a slightly dressed up vibe to it, which you would not expect necessarily looking at the bottle, but you could easily wear this on more formal occasions if you wanted to, or like on a date night or something like that. If you are a fan of the original CH Men, as I said, or some of those flankers that came out years past that are now discontinued and much more expensive, then you have to check this out. You have to. It's got like a little sweet spiciness to it as well, even though that's not officially a spicy note in the fragrance. It just smells so good. And to be fair, like some of these CH flankers, these limited editions that come out each year, have been really, really nice, and they've flown way under the radar. And that's probably what's gonna happen with this one too. So look past the design here and the boring note breakdown, and you have a fragrance that's actually really good. I also got this one. This is also Carolina Herrera, and it's a kind of a strange one. Yeah, it's 212 VIP Black, that part normal, but then New York Rodeo. is the official flanker of a flanker name. So 212 VIP Black New York Rodeo. And the bottle has lots of stars on it. For some reason. Now there's also 212 VIP Black Elixir. Yes, another elixir. And I have ordered that one, but it has not arrived yet. So whenever that one comes in, we'll see how it is. But for now, we'll talk about this one. One thing it does have going for it is a magnetic cap. So that's nice. And when you take that cap off, you can see right here on the top, limited edition. Yeah, there it is, limited. And that is one thing that Herrera loves to do almost more than any other designer brand out there. Limited editions. But the question is this worth getting? In my opinion, this one is, but this one. So when you spray this one on, it is quite a bit aromatic. You have lavender in here, rosemary, absinthe, leather, once again, vetiver and patchouli. It could remind you a little bit of 212 VIP Black, which makes sense because of course it is a flanker in that line. It takes on a little bit of a licorice smell at times in the opening, kind of heading through the mid. Not super strong, just kind of in the background. Then as it dries down, the leather, the vetiver come out. They mix together with some of those residual aromatics coming into the mid and the dry down. Performance is okay. It's not too terrible. It's not super beast mode off my skin. It's that type of fragrance where you smell it and you're like, this is okay. It's all right, it's cool. But at least for me, it doesn't really blow me away. And when there are so many other fragrances out there, it becomes one of those ones that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. So between the two Herreras, this one, in my opinion, way better. But this one does have some usability if you're looking for something that does have nice versatility to it that is not overly sweet. But you didn't come for that. You came for fragrances that you really, really want to know or need to know about. So let me give you one of those with this right here. This is a clone fragrance. There are only two in this video. It's by Zimaya and it's called Inicus Luna. So like I said, it's a clone fragrance and it is a really stupid good one. It's a clone of Reserve Privé. Gentlemen, Reserve Privé. And you can tell the second you spray this stuff on. As soon as it hits your nose, you're gonna get that iris, that creamy sweetness, that warmth like you would get from Reserve Privé. You know, that chestnut along the edges. It captures everything Reserve Privé has. Maybe a slight tweak, a slight change as far as like how much orange that you get off the top, but it's not a big change. And the quality is shockingly high. Like when you smell this, especially in the air, you're just like, so if you're a fan of Gentleman, the Givenchy Gentleman line or Gentleman Reserve Privé, this is gonna be just an absolute showstopper as far as capturing that scent profile and giving it to you for less. Which, by the way, tying that into today's giveaway is Reserve Privé. And this is a 200 ml size, oh, it's backwards, a 200 ml size bottle. So a lot of Reserve Privé, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and hop to the next scent, which is gonna be Kenzo Homme Indigo. So the Kenzo Homme line is one of those ones that has a big cult following. Basically people that think it is just amazing, but it is not a fragrance line that anybody's ever gonna confuse with YSL Y or Bleu de Chanel as far as sales, right? It flies under the radar considerably when you're talking about posting it up against pretty much any of the big lines from the other big designer brands. And this is one that makes use of iris. 2 iris fragrances in a row. Just dousing this thing. So as far as the note breakdown goes, you have that iris, you have aquatic notes, leather, sandalwood, and Aki-Gala wood. Really simple note breakdown. And if you're familiar with the Kenzo Homme line, the newer Kenzo Homme line that comes in these style bottles, very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon / Bushido blade, for those of you from back in the day who played that on PlayStation 1. But yeah, it's reminiscent of those Kenzo Homme fragrances that have come out before it. So you can find some similarities to Santal Marin, to the Eau de Parfum, to Eau de Toilette Intense. I said that weird, Eau de Toilette. I turned into Sylvester Stallone for a second there. It is reminiscent though to those fragrances, to me, a little bit more to Santal Marin, but if you're more familiar with the other ones, then you'll still be able to pick up that similarity. So it has that Kenzo Homme, like, minerally aquatic feel to it, with a good pop of iris, a little bit powdery, and a touch creamy as well. Nice sweetness to it. As it dries, you get that leather that comes out, which is gonna remind you possibly more of Kenzo Homme Eau de Parfum. So it is a little mix and match of the other Kenzo Hommes, only with iris sprinkled in on top. And this is one of those ones that grows on you. It's one of those fragrances that you sprayed on the first time, and maybe you're like, I don't know, not sure about it. you know? Might not be as big of a compliment puller as some of the other guys out there, so maybe you want to go with one of those instead. But then as you wear it more, as long as you like iris okay, yeah, it starts to get pretty good. Also has solid longevity for a fragrance that you would think of as more like a spring, summertime scent. And even though it has that similarity across the Kenzo Homme line, I'd say it's really unique as well compared to most designers. And that goes for the entire Kenzo Homme line, actually. Now, some of these you can't find yet at discounters super easily. Some of them I ordered from Europe. Actually, the majority of these I ordered from Europe. But as I said, I will link them in the description below. And for pretty much any of these, your best bet is gonna be to wait until they are at discounters so you don't spend as much money. And of course, I do have a lot of codes that you can use to save money across a number of discounters. Gift Express has 15% off, so anything there, you can use that code and save yourself 15%. I, of course, have the JOMASHOP codes. Those do only work within the JOMASHOP app, so do be aware of that, and they change every quarter. The Perfume Box, 10% off. That store has amazing deals on clone fragrances and also designer and niche as well. But really, any of these stores you can't go wrong with, so use those codes, save yourself a little money when you are shopping. The next one is from Diesel, and it's only the Brave, the Eau de Parfum. Now these bottles, they're pretty cheesy, I gotta say. And I know there are people that like these, but I don't know, man. Like a little fist with like Diesel brass knucks. They're gonna punch you in the face. Yeah, it's something. Maybe a little bit try hard, but if you like the bottle, fair play to you. The cap is basically non-existent. It's like made out of aluminum foil. But this is the newest in the only the Brave line. And that means it's gonna be the newest, really cheap, only the Brave fragrance when it hits discounters, because these are typically not very expensive at all. So the question is it a potential future cheapy gem kind of fragrance? And truthfully, when I purchased this, it was one of those things where you just throw it in your cart and you're like, I don't even know if I should buy this thing, but it was pretty affordable, so it was like, whatever. But I was like 90% sure that was gonna suck. That was gonna be pretty bad. Grotesque, just vomit-inducing, or horrific. Ugh. No breakdown, pretty simple. It's got mandarin orange, lemon, coriander, lavender, sage, suede, and a gourmand accord. That sounds like something Fragrantica would just throw in there. That's what that sounds like. So, expectations, not very high, not very high. But then I got the fragrance in, opened it up, and did as I just did now, and gave it a couple sprays, and it's actually pretty good. Just this thing right here, okay. It does have like a typical only the Brave kind of sweet aspect to it. This, you know, people would say synthetic sweetness, bubblegummy sweetness. It's got a bit of that in the opening when you spray it on for sure. Also aromatic when you spray it on, so it does have really nice versatility. That coriander, sage, lavender mixing together with that touch of citrus and that kind of sweet nuance that it has, actually pretty nice. Then as it dries down, the leather comes out more. It's a very smooth leather, very much a designer kind of leather. Sweet with like maybe a touch of fresh spiciness kind of underneath everything else. But honestly, it doesn't go too sweet. Like, I know I've said a few times that it is sweet, and it is, but it's not something that's like headache inducing. It's balanced out decently well, and that's due to the lavender, the clary sage, the leather as it dries. All these things kind of help balance it. They help kind of take the edge off of that sweetness. And I do own a number of different fragrances in this line, and a lot of them I don't like. Not all of them, to be fair, but a lot of them are kind of rough. This one is surprisingly well done. So if you find this at discounters in the future for a good price, I'm talking, you know, pretty heavily discounted, it can make a great purchase for like a versatile daytime evening scent that you can pull off just about whenever you want. The bottle still looks kind of bad. Burberry Hero is up next, the newest in the Hero line, Parfum Intense. It does come with a matte magnetic cap, so thumbs up for that. Now, one thing I'm not a huge fan of with this bottle is the text. Do you see that? I mean, obviously it looks a little dark right here, but it's a very dark text, very dark font against this dark brown bottle. It's kind of hard to read. Not the end of the world, and that is just nitpicking, but still. So this is yet another fragrance that makes use of leather. We actually have had a bunch of different releases this year with leather as a focal point. This one right here, this one has leather, this one has leather, and then you've got like Coach for Men Eau de Parfum that makes use of leather. There's a lot of leather going around. Note breakdown wise, it is dummified, stupefied, simplified. It has leather, as I mentioned, cedar and pepper. And at times you can pick out other little aspects going on. Like there's a bit of sweetness when you first spray it on, actually. It has almost like a faint nuttiness at times. Of course, a bit of fresh spiciness in there from the pepper. The cedar is gonna tie it in with the earlier fragrances in the Hero lineup. Kind of a pine aspect as well at times, like a resin almost. So there is a little more going on than that note breakdown would have you believe. But is it actually good? Is it well done? Well, let's break that down, I guess, in a couple different ways. Performance. Does it perform? Yes. It lasts, it projects pretty well, actually. But honestly, it should. It's Parfum intense, right? How wearable is it? Well, it kind of depends on what you're comparing it to. I think that the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette are more wearable than the Parfum Intense. I think those ones are easier to pull compliments. You can use them in more situations, more times. But I do like this more than the Parfum. I think it stands out a little bit more, especially fall, winter. That's really when you'd be wearing this one. It has great push to it. It does have a little bit of a balance because of that sweetness mixing together with the leather and the woods and that piney kind of aspect and everything else. Easily a good evening fragrance. You could wear it in a more dressy kind of situation, but maybe don't go crazy heavy. It's an interesting addition to the lineup. It's not going to appeal as much to people as I said, the EDT or the EDP, but in certain situations, it could be really top notch. Next up, Low DC, the Eau de Parfum. Now I've talked about this one a little bit in different lists and things like that. I actually like it a good amount. It's got a cool little like silver gray wooden cap. That's really kind of the vibe on all the Issey Miyakes nowadays, these wooden caps. It has kind of a throwback to the original Issey Miyake Low DC. It doesn't have it listed as a note, but there's definite citrus here off the top when you spray it on. Very fresh, clean, classy, not overly sweet. I mean, you get a little bit of sweetness from the citrus, but it's not like a, you know, bubblegummy, syrupy, sweet kind of thing going on. Just more fresh, bright, zingy type of sweetness that has a great woody aspect as it dries down. Very masculine, again, classy, clean. It's addictive. It really is. It's that type of fragrance you want to wear it again and again because it's so simple to pull off and simple to wear, simple to smell. I know a lot of times when it comes to like the fragrance community at large, Issey Miyake, people anticipate their cool weather fragrances more, or they have traditionally. Like when they release a limited edition for winter, people are like, oh, I gotta get it right now. When it comes to their summertime ones, a lot of times it's like, okay. But if you like the Issey Miyake summer fragrances, their summer releases, their limited editions, or just the original Low DC, you should definitely check this out. That being said, don't go into it expecting it to be the exact same as Low DC because it isn't. Talking about the original, of course, it is a new modern take. And keeping with citrus, Boss bottled Bold Citrus, which is yet again another limited edition. I'm not gonna complain too much because I do like getting new fragrances to check out and smell and everything. But man, limited editions sometimes. Just get so many of them coming out, it's hard to keep track of like which ones are worth actually splurging for. So you've got lemon and bergamot in here along with geranium, vetiver, patchouli, and elemi. Pretty simple, no breakdown overall. The citrus in here is kind of like a mix. It's got a little bit of rindiness to it, but not too much. And then also a nice freshness, brightness as well. So you have that sort of mix, that balance of sour and sweet going on at the same time. Which for some people that doesn't work so well. Like I know a lot of people, they like their citrus not to have any kind of rindiness or sourness or bitterness to it, but I don't mind. I actually think it makes it a little bit more interesting. So you do get a little bit of that in here. Obviously kind of green nuances in there as well, which is brought forth even more so by the color scheme on the bottle here. The main potential drawback here is while the performance is not completely awful, it is that type of scent that in the opening, it's gonna project a lot better when that citrus, the bold citrus, is really jumping off your skin. But then as it settles and that citrus kind of starts to dissipate, it does sit closer to the skin. And so if you're looking for something that's gonna project for many hours and project quite well, this is not really gonna tick that box quite as much as you might hope. For me, it's fine for this type of fragrance, and I'll go a little bit heavier if I want it to last a little longer, project a little bit heavier, but it is one of those ones that's a bit top heavy as far as the performance goes. Then the other clone, this is French Avenue, and it's not a Magnum Opus. It's Opus Magnum. Opus Magnum, yeah. So really the only thing that gives this away what it's supposed to smell similar to is the color scheme, actually, which is not too much to go on. But this is an alternative to Amouage's Royal Tobacco, which that is not a fragrance for everybody, and neither is this. It is kind of like the original, unapologetically bold, smoky, rich, spicy, little aggressive, just in terms of how it opens. You know, it's really like with full bloom right away. Note-wise, it's got cardamom, incense, basil, tobacco, lavender, oud, tonka, and Peru balsam, among other notes. It is quite strong. Absolutely the kind of fragrance you wear fall, winter. A little more of an evening type fragrance, again, because of that strength and the type of scent that it is. So this is gonna be one of those French Avenue fragrances that flies under the radar more just because of what it smells similar to. Royal Tobacco, as I mentioned, is the type of scent that is very particular as to who wears it, where they wear it, and when. And that is carried over to here, which is the cause of the similarities. And the final fragrance we're gonna talk about is from Calvin Klein, Eternity for Men Amber Essence. So this one does indeed have amber as one of the notes, along with bourbon vanilla, mandarin orange, and benzoin. And it is interesting. It has this syrupy, kind of sticky, ambery sweetness when you first spray it on, which makes sense. That's what it's called, amber essence. It also has woodsy aspects to it, a definite spicy, kind of warm and fresh hit off the top as well. At times, like a little touch of green along the edges, and that sweetness really carries through. I mean, it's like amber, vanilla, tonka, woodiness kind of all coming together. At least that's how it comes across. And then has those like almost spicy, fresh green aspects along the edges and working through. So it is a very polarizing fragrance. For some people, you're gonna smell this and think it is amazing, top-notch quality, especially for the price point. For other people, especially off the top when you first spray it on, you'll be like, oh, disgusting, just absolute vomit-inducing, vile garbage. It does settle though, and once it settles, it's much easier to wear. It's just, man, that initial opening, spraying that on again so I can smell it again, can be a bit much. Yeah, it can be a punch to the brain. And I think as time goes, Amber Essence is gonna pretty much stay that. You know, it's gonna be that type of fragrance where it's 50-50. You know, you're rolling the dice. Because sometimes fragrances, when they first come out, myself included, people might be like, it's not really for me. But then as time goes on, you wear it more and you start to really appreciate it more, which is normal, that's totally fine. But I think this is gonna be one of those ones that for a lot of people, if they just hate it, like the way it comes across, they're just not gonna cross that bridge. You know, it's gonna be one of those things where it's like, no, this stuff sucks. And for other people, especially as I said, as it dries down, if they don't mind that opening, it's gonna be something that they really like, kind of like a secret weapon type thing. So there we go, guys. There are the fragrances. Let's do the giveaway. It's Reserve Privé, again, 200 ml size bottle. It is not cellophane wrapped, but the bottle is unused. If you wanna be entered in the giveaway, usual stuff, all you have to do is leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. In the comment, let me know your favorite release of this year. Whatever that may be, just let me know what it is. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, posted up on the post tab of the YouTube channel the following month, usually about halfway through from when this video is posted, along with the winners of all the other giveaways I've done. So good luck. I forgot to say, if you're the winner, just hit me up, I'll ship it out to you. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.